Welcome everyone. I go by the name of Gabriel Letlhake. Today I would like to welcome you again to my presentation on river profiles. So I'll be discussing river profiles with the landforms and the characteristics associated with each stage. So today we'll explore the stages of a river from its source to its mouth, focusing on the landforms and characteristics at each stage. Coming to the second slide on the introducing the river profiles to you. So a river profile represents the changes in a river slope or gradient along its course. It consists of two key components eventually. The long profile, which shows the river from its source to its mouth, and the course profile, which shows a cross-sectional view at various points along the river. The long profile typically starts steep in the upper course and gradually flattens towards the lower course, while the course profile changes from a narrow, deep valley to a wide, shallow one. So coming to the upper course, rivers are fast flowing and steep due to the high gradient. As the river cuts through the landscape, it forms a distinctive V-shaped valleys where the sides of the valley are steep and narrow. This part of the river is dominated by vertical erosion. As the water curves downward through the bedrock, along the way, we often find waterfalls and rapids, where hard rock resists erosion while softer rock is worn away more quickly, creating these dramatic features. Coming to the landforms in the upper course. Common landforms in the upper course of a river include waterfalls and interlocking spurs. Waterfalls are formed when a river flows over layers of hard rock lying above softer rock. Over time, the softer rock erodes more quickly, causing the hard rock to collapse and create a waterfall. Interlocking spurs, on the other hand, are ridges of the land that extend into the V-shaped valley. The river winds around these ridges rather than cutting through them, creating a series of alternating spurs. Now, as we move into the middle course of the river, the gradient becomes more gentler, and the river begins to form large bends known as meanders. In this stage, lateral erosion becomes more dominant, causing the river to erode sideways and widen the valley. The river also slows down but carries more water and sediment, which begins to deposit along the inside bends of the meander. This leads to the creation of wide floodplains. In the middle course, two common landforms are meanders and oxbow lakes. Meanders are large bends in the river formed by erosion on the outer banks called river cliffs, and deposition in the inner banks called slip-off slopes. As the river continues to erode the outer bank and deposits material in the inner bank, the meanders become more pronounced. Over time, a meander can be cut off from the main flow of the river, forming an oxbow, which is a U-shaped body of water separated from the river. Moving to the lower course. In the lower course, the river flows very slowly as it reaches its final stage before emptying into a sea or a lake. The river travels across a wide, flat plain where deposition dominates because the river has lost its energy. This is where the river is at its widest and most mature, and the water carries a large amount of sediment. As the river floods, it deposits this sediment along its banks, forming leaves, natural raised embankments that run parallel to the river. In the lower course of the river, two major landforms dominate: leaves and floodplains. Leaves are natural embankments that formed when a river floods and deposits sediments along its banks. Over time, these deposits build up, creating raised barriers along the sides of the river. Floodplains are extensive, flat areas around the river. When the river floods, it spreads sediments across the floodplain, enriching the soil and creating a fertile area for vegetation and agriculture. Now, when a river reaches its mouth and flows into a large body of water such as a sea or lake, it forms a delta. This delta is characterized by fan-shaped or triangular formation of sediment deposited by the river. Right? As the river loses all its energy upon meeting the large body of water, it spreads out and deposits the sediment it has carried. So this process creates the delta, where the river's load is spread out in a wide area, leading to rich, fertile lands that supports diverse ecosystem. Now, let's recap the stages of a river's journey. So the upper course, remember, is characterized by a steeper gradient and fast-flowing water, leading to a vertical erosion that creates a V-shaped valleys, waterfalls, and rapids. Therefore, the middle course features a gentle gradient with a slower flowing water, leading to meanders and formation of oxbow lakes, and the floodplains due to the lateral erosion, right? So coming to the lower course, the gradient is very gentle, and the river flows slowly across a wide floodplains. Deposition dominates in the stage, remember, forming leaves and deltas. Now, coming to human activities, and we'll explain how human activities impact river profile in several ways. So, coming to dams. So, the construction of dams interrupts the natural flow of rivers. So, basically, it will lead to changes in sediment transportation and deposition, while dam provides water storage and hydroelectric power. They can also alter the river ecosystems and block fish migration. So the second point will be the urbanization. So imagine building cities. So building cities along a river, basically building cities and infrastructure will increase the surface runoff and reduces natural infiltration. So this can lead to more frequent and severe flooding and changes in the river's flow and sediment deposition patterns. Therefore, the last point will be the river pollution. So pollution from industrial, agricultural, and residential sources can degrade water quality, harm aquatic life, and affect the natural processes of erosion and sediment deposition. Now, coming to the last slide, I've found a case study. So now let's examine a local river called the Vaal River located in the Vaal catchment. So to understand how its profile changes from the upper to lower course. So this river flows through a diverse range of landscapes, so demonstrating many of these features we've discussed. So in the upper course, you'll see steep gradients and features like waterfalls and rapids. Moving to the middle course, in the river's gradient becomes gentler with meanders and floodplains forming as it begins to widen and slows down. Finally, in the lower course, the river spreads out across a wide floodplain, forming leaves and deltas as it approaches its mouth. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed my slides, and I hope you gained knowledge from the information I've just explained and tried by all means to summarize. So I'm on the last slide, which is the reference slide. So where you can get more information about what I've included in the slides, and you can go through the information I've given in the reference list in terms of the books, the websites, and the images also, so that you can find more clearer images that you can view better, sorry, that you can view better. But anyways, thank you for your time. Thank you.